And we are live, folks. Welcome back to the Wanna Parlay podcast. I'm Lance Bell. Next to me is Jack Neuheisel. Jack, tell the viewers, tell the folks about the amazing people that power this podcast.
The Wanna Parlay podcast, as always, is brought to you by the good folks of Wanna Parlay, home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every week people are turning a $2 investment into $2,000 and walking out the door. Pretty good stuff right there. It was nice to hear from Sheena earlier this week on her time in the Wanna Parlay suite at Arrowhead this weekend. She, Bianca, and our boy Kevin Turner and his buddy had a blast at that Monday night overtime experience. Hopefully we get Kevin on here a little later to talk about his time there. And then, quite frankly, there's a lot of people to talk about today with regards to Wanna Parlay. And I got some special player shout-outs to dish out here, Lance. Namely, some guy that, if you haven't realized, is starting to take us down. You better start noticing. My man Steel Curtain 82 is getting hot, maybe too hot. He's starting to see this account pop off a little bit. He just won the pick six and $400 last night. And that comes on the heels of winning the pick six last Saturday. My man to date has won $1,750 at Wanna Parlay, and that's all in the very young month of November. We're talking about 1 week of action. This guy's just made $1,750 all over us right here. So, Colin Richards, you absolute son of a bitch. You are now officially making more money than I make, and I'm an employee of this company. So, ouch, quite a bit. I good for you, kinda. To say I'm jealous and upset would be an understatement, but winners win and players play, baby. So you keep doing you. B-Stone wins the Wednesday pick five, which is good enough for $300. By the way, that's a full 170 more than Jeremy would have won placing that action anywhere else. Evan Hugh, 96, pockets 250 after winning the pick four. A full 120 more than he would have earned playing with the other guys. And MP44 coming in last night, stealing the parlay of the day, good enough for $40 on 0 down payment. So pretty sweet across the board. Steel Curtain 82, I have more to say about you, bro. I don't know if it's respect or hot jealousy, but I feel some type of way about you. But it's an impressive 7 days you've got started with Wanna Parlay, dude, and it needs to be talked about. And that's the people of Wanna Parlay, Lance.
Dude, that's sneaky. Steel Curtain. Wow. I honestly, that went under my radar. I didn't even know this guy was doing this. He's trying to fly low, but now we put him in the spotlight. Do you think he can handle it under pressure?
The gambling gods have a way of seeking you out, right? Our boy Kevin Turner, who is hotter than a $6 pistol, has not won since his suite experience. So there's ups and downs in this game. My man is hot right now. I think probably worth checking out his account and seeing what he's putting together. But this guy is now officially out earning me from Wanna Parlay. Wanna Parlay pays this guy more money than they pay me, and I like to think I do a little bit for him. So honestly, this is bullshit.
That's insane. Wow, good for Steel Curtain. And you said Colin Richards. Colin, I want to give you a special shout out, your actual name. If you are actually pocketing these funds this easily in 1 week of time, I'm going to be stalking you. I'm going to be on your account. I'm going to be looking at everything you place. I'm going to try to put myself in your shoes and see why you're making these bets, because there's got to be a reason. And hopefully you stay hot so at least I can win some money. And to everyone else, I mean, good work. You're doing better than me. I'm doing the best I can out here and just not having great success.
I felt the burn of the Steel Curtain of our boy Colin, and I finally got it going on the Tuesday night deal, but I didn't get to stick around long enough on that show. I was in transit trying to get back to Arizona to vote, and you had to carry a show solo. But Lanny, I went 3-0 on Tuesday, Wednesday. So I'm starting to feel myself. And on some sports I've not done well. I finally got a little NBA success, and I snuck into the hockey thing after we had your boy Sport on here quite a bit. Took the Avs minus the half versus the Kraken, and it was a 6-3 beatdown. So I'm starting to feel myself again. And you went 2-2. So as a group, we go above 500 from the last podcast.
Oh yeah, no, 100. I went 2-2. I will say I outsourced those college basketball picks. Not trying to point fingers, but I will say I didn't know what I was talking about, so I didn't expect much. But my whale of the night, my whale of the century hit beautifully. It was a sweep. It was one of the greatest events in American history. But we'll get more into that and probably never on this show. But Trump money line, lock, book it.
As
And
the great Michael Jordan said, Lance, both Republicans and Democrats buy Nikes. Okay, we're not
exactly.
trying to cut off half our
And you
crowd
know
here.
what? Both Republicans and Democrats, they both bet on Juana. So if you're either party, maybe even an independent or a libertarian, something random out there that's never going to win a presidential election, you can still play on Juana Parlay. So let's move on from politics because that's just not what this show is. So first thing I want to talk about, Jack, I want to dive a little into NBA plot lines. I'm gonna be honest. I want to talk a little. I've been getting beat up thinking I know what I'm talking about, and some things it's taken teams time to find their groove, and one of those teams, Jack, is the Nuggets. The Nuggets are Jokic is still the best player in the world, no doubt about it. There's no argument. This guy's putting up video game numbers still on the against the Thunder. He doesn't have Aaron Gordon. He doesn't have Jamal Murray. And who would have thought Russell Westbrook 29-6-6 against his former team? That I don't know how much you can rely on stuff like that, but you can rely on a heavy triple-double from Jokic just about every night. He had 10 assists at halftime, Jack.
I saw his stat line after the game, and I got some live action out there on the Nuggets, which had to carry me because I was listening to you and Joe Bag's dumbass talk about the Celtics coming back to beat the Warriors. So I got myself in a little bit of a hole that evening that thank God the Nuggets were able to recover me out of. I will say they're so banged up that it's not like part of me wanted to be like, I don't know how sustainable this is. That box score from Jokic was a freak show. It was like, what would you say it was? It was like 26, 16, and 19 or something like that?
It's something, it was something ridiculous. I don't know it off the top of my head, but you keep going, I'll look.
No, it was completely gross. So I'm just going, is that really a sustainable model? And OKC has been as hot as anybody in the league and is kind of a darling favorite because they're so young but yet experienced, a bunch of guys that came into the league super early. And so they got honestly kind of similar, not lack some of the star power, but kind of similar to the model that they were chasing with the original OKC team, that Durant, Westbrook, Harden team. All those guys were 24 or younger when they went to the finals against the Heat. So that OKC is putting together something similar, but this Nuggets team, again, the right veteran group, feels like they've got maybe just 1 to 2 more years of this core group before it kind of gets blown up, and especially a small market team like Denver. And so, yeah, I just refuse to believe this is the year they go quietly into the good night. I think Russell Westbrook's a pretty perfect pair with Jokic of just high energy, big athleticism. He'll evolve, my guess would be more to a 6-man when we finally get the real rotation back here. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing the Nuggets really bounce back right here. And then I'd be interested to see what other plot lines you have, because all of a sudden the Warriors.
Let me just tell you. I hate to interrupt you. Let me just tell you this box score: 23, 20, and 16. Jack.
I mean, what is that? That's gross. It's offensive, kind of. It's him and Steel Curtain. I'm like, it makes me want to throw up. And meanwhile, you got it written in your notes. So I hate to rip off your takes here, but yeah, the Lakers are in shambles, bro. What's going on in the Lake Show?
I mean, it's a tale. This is what's been going on the past few years, ever since their championship run. They don't want to put AD at the 4. It minimizes him defensively because he's always matched up on the 5, taking that matchup, and he can't be just the lurk help defender that fucking wipes everyone off the glass. Who do we like tonight, James Morris? We love Bengals. We love Bengals. We'll get more into it in a little, but James, we love Bengals. Right now, we're talking NBA. We got the Lakers. We're talking about how they're in shambles. Hopefully, you're blessed enough to not be a Laker fan. But yeah, outside of LeBron and AD, this roster's just not getting it done. I've seen multiple goose eggs from Vincent off the bench with about 20 minutes. The guy looks like Tony Snell. It's sick.
Rob Pelinka got foisted on that deal. Gabe Vincent was hot in that one playoffs, and outside of that, there's no other span of his career where he was that guy. And we paid him like he was that guy, and he's just not. He
was a really good 8th man on a Heat team that made a good run. And once again, the Lakers just are fools. I mean, we've signed people like Mozgov for $70 million. We've signed Luol Deng for $80 million. I think whatever the numbers are. We've signed absolute bona fide scrubs for a lot of money because they looked good in a playoff run, and I just don't. It's more mistakes. I don't know what we do because it's pretty hard to trade off of them without trading trade or draft capital. So they're in shambles, but yeah, you had a quick mention of the Warriors. Wow, I don't know what they just. Steve Kerr just has them playing free. It's instead of finding the identity like Curry's the leader and like it's just play free, play your game, and we're gonna figure out how to win games, and that's what they've done so far.
Buddy Hield feels like Jordan Poole without all the baggage. He feels like the perfect fit for this team. Like, you don't miss Klay Thompson at all from this rotation. Like, Looney's the best rebounder in basketball all of a sudden again. Like, it's crazy how they just continue to reload. If they stay healthy, I'm like, I really don't know. Like, just watching them against the Celtics.
We got James Morris firing. He says Lakers, they're done. They're too old. They need to rebuild. Start offloading assets. LeBron needs to retire. James, give LeBron a couple years. The guy's putting up enough blood, sweat, and tears in this league to have a little farewell couple years. Got a son in the
LeBron's
league.
stat line, by the way, against the Grizzlies was pretty freaky as well.
And it's like there's no one else that's even compete. It feels like he's the only one out there trying. Like he's the only one that cares. Obviously, that's not the case. I'm not saying NBA basketball players, that they don't care. But I'm like, where was the sense of urgency that every game matters? You got to win. You can't do there's no spurt, wait till the All-Star break. There's no time. You got to start winning games now, especially in this West. This West is unbelievable, Jack. There's teams, there's 6 or 7 teams I could see winning the championship out of the West.
They were 4-1. They're going to play a Cavs team that was really good. I'm not bothered by the blowout loss there, especially we had guys banged up. But then they went to the Pistons totally healthy, and you get boat raced by that young team that's got no chance of making the playoffs. And all of a sudden now they're 4-4, and I'm going, I got 82 games of this, but I already know where it's going. It's going to be 500 at the All-Star break. It's going to be fighting for a play-in spot, and then it's going to be getting beat by the Nuggets in the first round after the play-in.
If we lose to the Nuggets in the playoffs or play-in or whatever it is again, Jack, I'm going to be sick to my stomach, and I think I will renounce my fandomship of the NBA. I think I will be done. I think I'll just toss everything I don't like. I'll be sold out. It'll just hurt so bad. James Morris is firing in the chat right now, Jack. James,
I appreciate it.
He's okay. So let's go through some of these. There's no way he's talking about the Lakers. There's no way they can compete with these young teams. OKC, San Antonio. Well, San Antonio, give them a little time, but I see what you're going. Houston, Minnesota, Dallas. I see what you're saying. And the toughest part for the Lakers, it's when everyone plays the Lakers, no matter what team you are in the NBA, if you're playing the Lakers, whether it's in LA, prime time, or it's at your stadium where they make it prime time because they sell out any arena they go to. Teams play them like it's the NBA championship. They play them as hard as they can. You have random guys hitting random shots, just going crazy because it's their chance to dethrone LeBron James and those Lakers. So that's why whenever they're in a playoff series, I never feel like they're out because I feel like they can play in the biggest moments, but they just take games off, man. They need the sense of urgency.
Yeah, and to agree with James here, actually, because we are a gambling podcast, or at least a gaming daily fantasy podcast. Weird distinction, but it's what we are. But when they get the Cowboys lines, they get the USC lines, they get the Notre Dame lines. So their line is always 2 points off going against the Lakers. If you spent the entire year just taking against the Lakers, you would net money. They're always horrible against the spread. So looking forward, yeah, it pains me to bet against my own team, but if we need money, that's the spot to go. They're getting bad lines and they take nights off. Sometimes it's a very easy cover going against them.
Yeah, you're 100% right, and that's the toughest part. So I just say I stay away. Now they're talking. Kobe Bryant would have this team. Kobe Bryant at 40 years old was literally like signing autographs, unveiling his statue. I honestly now
I bring up the Jordan Hill, Ryan Kelly teams, the Jordan Clarkson teams, where Kobe was going on fucking Kimmel and laughing at Jeremy Lin and Nick Young and those guys. Like, no, I remember the last 3 years of Kobe, and if you erase the 60-point game he closes out against the Jazz, yeah, Kobe was fun, but that team fucking sucked, and it was a disaster to watch it.
I mean, Kobe's teams from 2011 on were disasters. They never came back to their winning form. How many playoff series did they win after that last championship? I don't think one.
I don't think one either. And then I believe maybe he had him all right at the end of 2011, and then does the Achilles going into that playoff series. They end up getting beat by the Mavs early in that one.
Yeah, they
But
got swept by
that's the
they got
one.
swept by the Mavs. So maybe they won a
That,
series and got swept in the semis or something.
no, they had to battle to even get into the playoffs, and then Kobe in the last game did his Achilles. So
Oh,
Kobe never plays in that playoff run.
James, I hate to tell you this, but you got to wipe your mouth, bro. Kobe is not the GOAT. Kobe is not the GOAT. I'm sorry. Hey, greatest Laker of all time. Great argument, honestly. And I won't say you're wrong. I think it's Magic Johnson. You could say it's Kobe Bryant. There's an argument for each. You know, I'm not. And you could be more right. Like, oh, he's the GOAT. Oh, he's firing right now, Jack. He's firing right now.
Here's the deal, Lance. You have to frame the argument in a certain way. Are we talking championships? Are we talking the guy I'd want in a one-on-one game? Are we talking the guy I'd want in a 7-game series? Regardless, any metric that Kobe gets put in, he's the carbon clone of Michael Jordan, and there's just no way you don't take Jordan over Kobe. You want to talk Kobe LeBron? You want to talk Kobe Bill Russell? You want to talk Kobe Kareem? Those are conversations you can have, but there's just no way better than Michael. The best compliment anyone ever gave Kobe, and I think it's the highest respect level you could give any basketball player, is for 20 years, every single kid wanted to be like Mike, and there was only one guy that was actually like him. It was Kobe.
100%. No, I've heard that argument. I agree with the argument. I've seen some tapes of Jordan, though. I'm done with the 90s. There's some of the basketball that was being played, the defensive rules, where it's just one-on-ones and you can only help and you can't even play zone. I'm done with the 90s. I can't even have the arguments. The eras are just so much different. I'm over. And by the way, when you guys are talking about Kobe in 2010, that 2009, 2010 season, guys, he was 31 years old. He was 31. LeBron's 39. He's turning 40 on December 30th. Like, it's just different times. It's just, we can't. And don't get me, I used to love going into the Kobe LeBron arguments. I used to battle. The guy joins, Papa. Me and him used to get almost like fist fights over Xbox. Obviously, we were over headsets, but like we used to get so mad at each other in Kobe LeBron arguments. It's always been LeBron. LeBron's the GOAT. That's where I stand on it, and I'll never change. You won't be able to convince me otherwise. Jack, go ahead.
I'm dug in. I'm entrenched. I will never change. And I was just going to say, that's the best part about these arguments is everyone's always so willing to change their mind.
Yeah, no, it's like I've said LeBron was the GOAT, I think, since 2015 or 16. That was when I was, of course, I said before and all that. Yeah, exactly. So I've been steady true. LeBron's the GOAT. So, moving on from the NBA. Actually, there's a couple of teams I want to mention just real quick. Cavs are actually unlocking their potential. They look disgusting. They've got Jared Allen all those years back when he signed that 5-year, like, I think it was $100 million. He was getting $20 million a year. I was like, are you serious? You're going to pay a big man that can't shoot or do just a rim protector $100 million? Next thing I know, they get that kid, Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley's looking like an all-NBA player this year, Jack. Donovan Mitchell, we know who that guy is. Garland, he had like an injury-riddled, never got his flow last season. He's looking great this season as a facilitator and some little scoring from, like, don't get too carried away with his assist. He's actually a bona fide scorer as well. Cavs look great. And Ime Udoka, the guy that was banging the owner of the Celtics or whatever he was doing, now has found his job at the Rockets, and the Rockets are winning games. They're sneaky, and that was a great call out by you, James, because the Rockets are sneaky. They paid their star players under max value, so they still have roster flexibility. I'm pretty confident with how the Rockets look in the future, even after some of the bad trades that they had. They've made up for it.
I dig their rookie, by the way, the Rockets, that little point guard from
Reed Shepherd.
Reed Shepherd. That kid's a certified hooper. That kid's going to have a nice little career.
Exactly. In like 2 to 3 years. And Van Vliet's a little old, honestly. It's surprising for a lot of people. I think he's like 29 or 30. He'll learn from Van Vliet, and they're in good hands. They're in good hands, especially what they got for offloading Hart to the Nets. They're in good hands.
Small school guy, Van Fleet, Wichita State, go Shockers.
Go,
But he
go.
was a 4-year guy.
That's actually awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right. There's the NBA. If anyone, KG Little Joes, what's up, gents? Just letting anyone know in this, just letting anyone know in this chat who let James Morris in this chat. Sorry, my words are tired. But you guys, oh God, they're battling in the chat right now, Jack. All right, we're gonna keep moving.
Team Chicago. Yeah. Hey, real quick before I talk college football, peek the waiting room really quick. Make sure our boy Kevin isn't hanging in.
Nope, I just got our hockey guy. He's sitting in waiting for the end. I have him.
Oh, fantastic!
Because he knows too much. He's got a wicked parlay today, Jack. A massive all -1.5. He believes in it. He has 25 on like some separate site in Canada because Wanna Parlay hasn't ventured there yet. So he's gambling in Canada. He's got 25 to win 4,000. He's very confident in it. So we got a miracle on our hands that we'll be able to talk about. But Jack, dive into college football. Teach us something. Just teach us something.
So this is something I get a little bit carried away from time to time because we got 130 million college football fans, Lance, and so often so few people realize what all is going on, especially behind the scenes. If you're talking NIL, if you're talking transfer portal, if you're talking who's cheating who, it's the Wild West right now in college football. But it should be said, this has been the most watched year of college football ever, and we haven't even gotten to the slate where it's going to be absolute carnage. And I think this week is the week that sets it off. The best of college football is coming this next month. We have this week our first playoff game of the 12-man playoff. Alabama and LSU are playing in an elimination game. Both have two losses. Bama's got 2 SEC losses here. But the winner of this game is going to be sitting right there, sitting pretty, going into the college football playoff selection show next Tuesday. And the loser of this is completely out. They're absolutely gone. So I will have more on that game when we get to our weekend locks, because I do have a hardened opinion on that game. Another game coming up, Georgia Ole Miss this Saturday. Another game I'll talk kind of the specifics on when we get to the locks. But if Ole Miss gets beat this week, they're gone. If Ole Miss wins this week, we have absolute chaos in the SEC because next week, Georgia's going on to play Tennessee. So all of a sudden, Ole Miss beats Georgia, Georgia beats Tennessee. Who the fuck is playing in the SEC championship game? I have no idea still. It could end up being, say LSU beats Bama and Texas A&M beats Texas. We could have some freak show matchup here going on and have no idea. I still couldn't tell you how many teams are going to get into the playoff, but it's going to be absolute carnage here. Another game to look out for this weekend, BYU on the road to Utah. That line's only 3.5. Utah has been big bro for the last, 25 years or so to BYU. And so all of a sudden BYU in this miracle year, Utah in a very forgettable year by their standards. This is the one way you say that you go ruin the guy across town's game. And these guys are about 15 miles away from each other from Provo to Salt Lake City. So I expect a big one there.
Wait. Go back to the BYU Utah. What was the line?
3.5. BYU minus 3.5.
Okay, for a second, for some reason, I thought you were saying Utah was favored. I was like, they can't be doing this again, Jack. They can't.
No.
Okay, so there's the respect is there.
The respect is there, but it's 8-0 BYU versus 4-4 Utah, and it's not Cam Rising playing. Like, it's still just nerve-wracking. The boys, the Utes are going to be getting up for this game. It's Mormon on Mormon action. I cannot wait to watch that game late Saturday night. And then we touched on the games coming, but just everybody realize how good this football is about to be. It's the most watched year of college football ever. By the way, it beats last year, which shattered every year up to date. And we haven't even gotten to these big-time games. That starts this Saturday. And then we're going to get to the playoff games, and they're going to blow out the ratings of any bowl game ever. And this national championship, if it ends up being blue blood on blue blood, I mean, just God help the ratings. Watch out, NFL, by the way. I know you're daddy, but I'm just telling you, this product right now might be better. This is pretty good shit going on right here.
Wow, you got me so, I have goosebumps right now on that rant you just went on. You got me fired up for college football. I gotta mention the chat. Chat is going crazy. I got James Morris saying Chief Keef never made a song about LeBron. Period. Enough said. I guess that's enough said. He's hyping up Houston, top 5 NBA coach, will win a ring in the next 5 years. Then KG and James were going back and forth. Kevin, do we have to talk about the Bears, Sox, and Bulls right now? Says easy there, Cheesehead. There's war going on right now in our chats. And then Oh, Carson, he joins in. He says ECU -8 over FAU and Cincinnati +6 versus Baltimore. What are your thoughts on those, Jack?
I'll say one, love the Bengals pick. You and me have been on
Yeah.
that big time. We'll talk about that when we get to the locks, but love the Bengals tonight. Can't see the Ravens taking the season sweep. And then the other one was the ECU game. FAU just had a really kooky experience, kind of a weird standoff after getting boat raced by USF. The coaches almost had to be separated at the end of the game. To me, that's not a galvanizing moment. That's a locker room shattering. What the fuck are we even doing around here? So ECU at home tonight. Yeah, I dig it. I didn't have it written down, but yeah, let's go Pirates.
Boom. That's a squad ride. That's a squad ride right there. Carson, thank you for the lock. We're gonna use it.
They call that a party wave out here on the West Coast.
Yes, sir. Oh, wow. KG Little Joe's, he's got over 91.5 rushing for Henry tonight and anytime touchdown for Henry, as well as over a half or basically one interception for Lamar Jackson. He thinks Lamar throws a pick. What do you think about those, Jack?
Well, I'd say this. I love every single over tonight. I wouldn't have one argument against an over tonight because if you go just look at the Bengals scores this year, their defense has been porous as hell, especially the run defense. They can create some turnovers, but they've given up, massive points. They beat the Raiders by double digits, but they still give up 30 to the worst offense in the league last week. And now you're going to get the Ravens, who I believe scored something like 21 in the fourth quarter to force overtime last time against the Bengals. So this thing's going to be high scoring. We're going to have tons of yards tonight. I like everything. And then we said on the beginning of the week when we were going through somebody's winning parlay, but the Derrick Henry anytime touchdown should be attached to every single parlay for the foreseeable future. The guy's already over 1,000 10 games into the season, well over 1,000. He scored at least one touchdown. More like it feels like he's averaging 1.5 a game right now. And it's against the worst run defense it feels like in the AFC. So yeah, let's get nuts and take every over we can tonight.
No, I agree. One of the things about the Bengals defense, it's like they don't stop you, but they can sneaky get like a sack on 2nd and 10 and can kind of like they're not like if you have a consistent run game against this team, like you're gonna be fine and they're gonna put up a lot of points. But the Bengals are like Hendrickson, he's sneaky. He comes off the edge, he can make a big play. Some of these guys, but it's just tough. I just don't see the Ravens. They just try to pick up, or they traded for Trey White, who's Swiss cheese. We were glad to see him go. He's a bag of chips. The Rams got rid of him. The Ravens DBs are in trouble. So, yeah, you're right. It's just going to be a high-scoring fucking juggernaut slugfest on offense.
And let's stay put here. Let's just get straight to our Thursday night picks because now we're just talking about it. So,
honestly,
you and me both love Bengals +5.5 tonight. Frankly, I'm going to get a little action out there on the money line action tonight for the Bengals.
I said the same thing. I was like, I got to sprinkle. I got to dabble.
Now, I will say make sure you have the insurance points tonight. Evan McPherson, Money Mac for the Bengals, is having the worst season of his kicking career. And Justin Tucker is still Justin Tucker. If this becomes a shootout or trading field goals late, advantage Ravens. I'd take the 5.5 and just protect yourself from that just late.
It's moved to 6.5, Jack. I think Vegas is moving lines more to the favorites because they're getting hammered on favorites so far this football season.
That's fascinating. I hate the late line movement against us, but I'm not going to be bullied by Vegas. Here's the deal. Joe Burr is playing simply his best football right now. And this is going to lead to a bigger take right here, Lance. But Bengals in a must-win spot right here. Ravens kind of won in a bullshit circumstance in the first one in Cincinnati. Ravens debuting their lame purple helmets tonight. That's something I'd love to fade. So definitely Bengals plus the points, definitely over 52.5. That's probably the best bet on the board, regardless of any opinions tonight. Keep an eye out for T. Higgins because it's been unclear.
I was like, is he playing or is he doubtful?
I just looked it up. He's still listed as doubtful, so we'll see. He's not been taken out, but regardless, he's going to be on a limited snap count. They'll have him. They won't.
Oh, KG just updated it. Said move on points went up because Higgins isn't playing. He's just heard he's out, or he's just seen he's out. So it must be official.
So that's the one to keep eyes on because this is now the best prop bet on the board. When T. Higgins is out, Mike Gesicki goes absolutely off. It's the strangest thing in the world, but you can look it up. Every game T. Higgins has been out, Gesicki has been murdering the overs. So I expect end zone tonight from Gesicki. I expect 100 yards receiving. I expect 4+ catches. If the overs are in line with that, hammer all of them.
You love the Gesicki masterclass tonight.
100%. This week we're
getting a gritty.
Jamar Chase was giving him a hard time on the gritty, and I'm like, we're gonna get some side-by-side gritties tonight. Jamar with Gesicki in Baltimore. It's gonna be good, and then we're gonna get that great college football atmosphere because the Ravens don't take that shit. So when they score, they're gonna gritty right back. It's gonna be a fun little back and forth, big time AFC North rivalry game here. Which, by the way, is if you really peel apart, the best divisional games in the NFL come from this division. It's the best games by far.
Hey, that's actually super true. That's super true. I mean, and the weirdest part for me is because you would expect the Ravens obviously had beat the Browns and they could kind of come into this game not too worried about their future. 2 losses, I think, and they would have been fine. But they lose that game to the Browns, and now this almost becomes must-win for them as well.
100%. I still just feel like
Bengals all day. Bengals all day.
That Joe Burrow press conference after the last game just feels like he's in Mamba mode right now. He really does, which, by the way, leads me to this hot take. If you are riding with Lance and I tonight and you think the Bengals are going to win this game, which Lance and I both do, then you should go right now and place a future bet on Joe Burrow to win the MVP. Hear me out here. Lamar Jackson is currently blowing out. He's the odds-on favorite by a lot to go win his 3rd MVP, 2nd consecutive. The voters hate doing that. And all of a sudden, if the Bengals win tonight, they're going to go to tied in the division with them, and they could rattle off and get hot and go to the playoffs. It's the best football Joe Burrow has played in his career. He's yet to win an MVP. And if he wills this team to the playoffs, it's his worst Bengals cast by a lot so far in his career, with the exception of his rookie year where he hardly played. I love this bet if you think the Bengals are going to win tonight. I'm telling you, if you get on it tomorrow, it will be too late. You will have sacrificed 1,000 points in value. Get on it right now if you think the Bengals are going to win tonight.
Jack, I love that take. Honestly, I didn't even see you had it. I didn't even have it in my notes either. I was literally thinking this as we were talking about it, because why not? Why not? It's dark horse. It's sneaky. If he leads a comeback with this team and its record, because we know this roster isn't great. The defense is shambles. And if he's out here winning games, putting up the numbers he's putting up, there's no reason he shouldn't be the MVP. So I really hope he wins this game tonight because I really I want there to be a shakeup. I get it. Lamar Jackson is playing amazing football, but I don't want to see him win another MVP. I want to see someone else that is putting in the work as well. And by the way, our chat is still firing. They're starting to. James Morris goes, he says, you said Burrow is in Mamba mode. Notice how you didn't say Burrow is in LeBron mode.
Fair enough.
Are you nitpicking right now, James Morris? Like, Mamba mentality is a trademarked great slogan that Nike has pumped out for years. Like, I'm sorry, it just sounds better than having the whole word jumble of, oh, Sean's take is in the waiting room. I don't know if he's joining, but if he wants to hop in and give some takes.
Yeah, throw Sean in here. Sean's money.
And Alex, our hockey guy, and James Morris are glazing each other. They're just hot. I saw James just say, Alex can't say no wrong, and they're going back and forth. I guess they just love each other. Talk about a newfound friendship. You guys should trade numbers.
Let me directly to respond quickly to that Mamba quote, by the way. That was a reference to one season. That's when Lil Wayne makes the song, and that's when he's doing the press conference, and that's when he's got David Spade and Chris Rock sitting next to him, and that's when they went off and beat, was it the Celtics or the Magic that year in 2008? But it was that season.
They lost in 2008 and then won Magic.
If we're going to declare GOATs based off one season, let's get Kawhi Leonard's fucking Raptors in this conversation, you know?
Why not?
But that's ridiculous, right? That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
We have to evaluate a full career here, and there's not one stat we can point to where LeBron's not the best in. I have a hard time with it, too. I don't necessarily like LeBron. He wouldn't be a guy I'd, like, pay for a cameo from, but fuck, the career is undeniable.
I love that take, Jack. All right, we're bringing in Sean's take. I think Sean's going to have something for us here. Sean, can you hear us? You're on mute, and we can't. Oh, we can see it. All right, can you change the horizontal? Is there any way you could go horizontal?
Bang.
Bang.
Hold on. There we go.
There he is.
Sean?
What do we got today, guys?
So
we're rattling NFL right now. We're getting stuck on the Thursday night action.
All right. What are the takes so far?
We've been very one-sided. We are all in on Bengals. We are all in on the over. And then go stay with me here, Sean. If you believe in the Bengals tonight, then to me you should get on the Joe Burrow MVP future before the game starts. I think all of a sudden Lamar is the odds-on favorite right now. If in a one-game sample size, Burrow looks like a head and shoulders better quarterback, and they make a run with the worst cast he's had yet in Cincinnati and make the playoffs, I don't see how the voters are going to go, Lamar Jackson gets his third and his second consecutive. They're going to go, Joe Burrow gets his first. That's my hot take of the day.
It could happen.
His first words, it could happen.
Yeah, Shawnee cold water over here, just pouring cold water on my takes. Okay, bring it on. Explain why.
No, I don't think his numbers are going to be there to justify that. The wins would be impressive, but I don't think the numbers will be there, especially with how Lamar's passing numbers are this year. He's doing it as a runner. Passing yards are insane for what he's putting up right now.
And another great call out from James Morris in the chat. He says, "Hey guys, Josh Allen still exists. Like, and I'm like, I like that as well. But I love. Hey, Jack, don't cool down at all. I love the Joe Burrow take. We think Cincy wins tonight. That's not our bet. We take the points. Always take the points. But we're gonna sprinkle on money line. And Sean, we like Bengals."
So a little background on Sean, Lance. He's a Yale graduate, so he's much smarter than you and me are. He might be looking at metrics that, we couldn't even understand.
Hey, I believe it. I'm a narrative bettor. So Sean, I want to you take us in the mind of you. What are you looking at on this Thursday night? Not just NFL, but all across the board, because I know it sounds like you're a pretty smart guy.
So this Thursday night in the Ravens-Bengals game, what I got is Ravens team total over 29.5. They score 30 consistently. They score 30 against the Bengals consistently. I got Lamar over passing yards, and I'm coupling that with Zay Flowers over passing yards as well. So that's the same game parlay.
What do you think at all about Deontay Johnson? Do you think they get him involved this game early because they traded for him? He's a hell of a receiver, and I know it got shadowed by how horrible the Panthers are. But do you think I saw his line at 17.5, and I think that's pretty damn small for him. But what do you think?
It's hard because I thought that they would have gotten him a couple catches last week, and they didn't. And it's also like right now, Bateman's playing good. Mark Andrews is there. Like, they don't need him to do anything. I would think he's going to get a catch today, but even so, it could be a 5-yard out, and that might be his night. Like, I think it's going to be underwhelming for him, which is disappointing. I want to see him do well there. I want to see him get the ball, but I don't think it's going to be a DeAndre Hopkins type of night, coming for him.
So you think just stay away?
I would stay away. I wouldn't touch him.
One more week.
He proves that he's going to have a role in this offense, I'm not touching him.
Okay.
Yeah,
Jack.
and to that point, Sean, this is an offense that lives in 12 and 13 personnel, and he's just not going to get Zay Flowers off the field. The only world he's playing is if they're going to get in some 10 and some 11, and he gets to be the third and fourth receiver in the set, and it's just not their identity. So maybe in a world where they're down big and it's a big, we got to throw from behind day, but that's not probably how this game is going to go. This feels like a shootout. Feels like one where the Bengals are going to be within striking distance all game, and then it's going to be a fourth quarter game.
Yeah, I completely agree. And maybe in the shootout, he does carve out a role, but, I just, especially with a new receiver, we knew DeAndre Hopkins game 2 was going to be involved. We can't say the same thing about Johnson right now.
Well said.
100%. KG Little Joe's is in here firing. He says Goff is going to win MVP. What do we think about that? What do we think about that? But
I do think what comes up must come down. I don't see this being sustained necessarily from Jared Goff. This just freak show efficiency that run that he's on. He's on some streak right now where he's 32 for 32 of his last 32 targets to your boy St. Brown. So it's been a freak show year, and the Giants, or the Lions, do feel like the best team in football not named the Chiefs. Certainly the most impressive, the best highlight reel of the season. The Chiefs have just gone quietly about their business and pushed their chips to January and February like they always do.
Yeah.
So,
you go,
what's
Sean.
your top 5? What's your top 5 power rankings right now?
Ooh, great question, Sean. So I go Chiefs number 1, Avi. To me, that's undeniable. They're back-to-back Super Bowl champs. They're 8-0. That one's easy. Lions to me go 2. Are you guys still with me? We're consensus on 1, 2. Okay.
I am.
And now it gets a little bit dicey. Do you go Bills or Ravens there at 3? Do you go Vikings there at 3? All those teams, that to me is 3 through 5. 49ers and Rams, we'll see. It feels inconsistent and not believable yet. CMC gets right, and all of a sudden the 49ers are rolling. Obviously, their roster is a freak show. But today, if we started the playoffs tomorrow, who are your top 5 teams? That's 1 and 2 lock for me, and then there's an argument on that 3 through 5, but those are the teams.
And honestly, I agree 100%. That's exactly what I would have said. I probably go. It's tough. Where do you go with Ravens and Bills?
Heart of hearts in a playoff game, I'd take the Bills.
Same. That's how I feel.
Okay. I would put Ravens at 2, Lions at 3, Bills at 4. If I had a head-to-head matchup right now, Ravens-Lions, I'd pick the Ravens to win that game.
Shit, you might be right.
Yeah, honestly, that's a good point.
It's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard because we know the Lions would throw on the Ravens. For as good of a team that is, they're dead last in passing yards allowed. That's concerning for a team that you think should be a Super Bowl contender.
So this is going to be a little long-winded, guys. Bear with me. But I was making kind of a rant on the landscape of college football at the top of the show, Sean. And I never quite got there, but I can already see the writing on the wall. We're going to end up in this debate that we always end up in is, are we deciding who are the 12 most deserving teams? Or are we saying I test who are the 12 best teams? And I think when you asked me that question, I put the 5 most deserving teams in some freak show order there. And I think you're right, though. I test alone Ravens versus Lions tomorrow. I would bet on the Ravens.
Yeah.
I would bet on the Bills. Is that crazy?
I mean, this is tough. I mean, what about a team like the Commanders? Where do you put them?
They're fun.
But they just
spoil a party.
Now they just traded for Lattimore. They got a bona fide cornerback one.
Move. They're playing to it's a new ownership group. They're playing to the locker room. They're playing to the fan base. They're saying we're all in. But really, they've got a 5-year window here. Really, a 4-year window before they re-sign Jaden Daniels, which they will do as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So that team that you don't think sniffs the top 5 at all?
No, they can spoil a party for a really good team, but they will not win a Super Bowl. No shot.
Okay.
The NFC is interesting because there's not a lot. It's not top heavy this year.
Yeah, no. The AFC is the top heavy conference. They're the ones with the juggernauts. They have 3, maybe 4 of them.
Yeah, the NFC has been a little bit wildly disappointing. Saints are the first team to fire their coach. NFC West, not one team has really separated themselves, and we thought possibly one of all 4 could do it this year. Cardinals probably not, but they're in first.
All of a sudden,
people were big on the Seahawks. Everyone was a dark horse Rams favorite. It was a big move in Vegas to take them as the Super Bowl, and then the 49ers were next to the Chiefs on Super Bowl favorites. So everyone thought highly of that division, and it's been the most disappointing so far. Cowboys, obviously, hugely disappointing this year. Commanders have been the fun story, but the Eagles, who are loaded with problems, feel like they're going to walk away with that division. And I guess, you know what? NFC North, though, has been sharp. It's been fun. Lions, Packers, Vikings have all been good. Caleb Williams has been disappointing. Not yet ready to call him a bust. There's been enough, sprinklings and evidence of potential that you feel like they're an offensive coordinator away.
Hey, James Morris just gave his top 5 teams. He goes 1 Buffalo, 2 Baltimore, 3 Chiefs, 4 Pittsburgh, 5 Packers. Is that the craziest top 5 you've heard?
I'm sensing some bias in your teams. I know how close the Packers are to your heart, and I think top 5 is a little too much for me right now.
He has the Packers in the top 5 and not the Lions. Isn't that a little crazy?
And I think there's some home cooking there. There's some Josh Allen fans in the Morris household. I think that guy's made in the image of Jim Bob right there. Talking about a big guy, big kid, played at Wyoming, probably felt a lot like Kansas State and a Little Apple to Jim Bob. Very similar. I think that's a home cooked opinion right there, James.
All right. So to keep a little bit on track, Thursday night picks. Right now, Jack, you've gotten through Bengals plus 5.5. It's moved to 6.5. You got the over at 52.5 in the game. I don't know if that's moved. You got Mike Gesicki's overs. You're betting on a masterclass from Gesicki, the gritty man himself. Burrow MVP. It's sneaky. I like it. Sean, not so much. Now, go into your other. You got 3 other picks, and I want to hear what you got on this Thursday night here, Jack.
Yep, I'm going to get to it. I'll just say this. I like the picks so much more when they come out of my mouth. When I hear them back, I'm like, God, I'm really on one side here. I'm really playing one side of the fence. But anyway, I'll stay on the football. I'll take us to the muddy college football of the Sun Belt. I like App State -1 tonight at Coastal Carolina. App State was on the hot seat earlier this season. Was talks their coach was going to get fired. Since they rattled off 2 straight wins, including one against Old Dominion, who's an extremely good, pesky team in that conference. Meanwhile, Coastal has lost 3 straight, and it appears they've got nothing that's stopping that slide. Ordinarily, this game would be a pick 'em. I think the -1 leans tells you Vegas. They're tempting you to take the home team in the close spread. I don't think to overthink it. I think it's App State by a touchdown. Transition now to a little hoops. I'll go NBA. Spurs are on a back-to-back tonight, and their youth is Wemby, who's 9 feet tall. Back-to-backs are not good for a guy like that. Chris Paul in that starting rotation. He's 1,000. Back-to-backs don't seem good. And this Blazers team, for the first time in years, since like basically the last 2 years of Dame, feel like they're not in tank mode right now. Anthony Simons is playing good basketball, so I like the Blazers there tonight. College hoops. I know Idaho State burned you against the Sun Devils on Tuesday night, Lance, but I like USC -23.5. We talked about it a lot this show. Game 1 to 2 in all sports is where you take your biggest lead. USC looked super talented. They're kind of a mid-level all-star. They've taken on like 12 transfers, a bunch of kids that averaged 16 at mid-majors all across the country. So they just looked a little disorganized, didn't quite appreciate the hierarchy. They're trying to play like kind of positionless basketball. I think they look much more organized tonight. I like them to cover the big number. And that's me. That's my Thursday.
I like Portland. I like that pick.
That was the one. I like that. I was like, I said it to my buddies. I was like, I think Blazers are the play here. Like, I think that might be, whale territory. I don't think Vegas knows. And they hated it. So honestly, now I love it even more.
I almost dragged my feet on it because I was like, wait, no, the Spurs are young, but it's like, no, they're not. Wemby's got a 7-year career in front of him. What are we talking about? The guy's 10 feet tall.
No, exactly. All right. Thursday night, I'm going in. I'm going to rattle these off fast. And then you guys let me know after what you think about them. So obviously, I'm on the same train. Bengals plus 6.5. Definitely dabbling in Bengals money line. I had, before Sean gave me a reality check, I had Deontay Johnson over 17.5 receiving yards. Felt like they'd want to get him involved. But you made some great points, Sean, about their players that are already playing well. Chase Brown, anytime touchdown. I think they give this guy the football in the red zone, not only through the ground, but also through the air. I think he's a red zone target, and I think he's going to get a touchdown this game. T-Wolves -9.5 versus the Bulls. Bulls just got throttled by the Mavericks last night. They're on a back-to-back. They're going through the gauntlet of the West. And I just don't think they have the players to sustain. I think the T-Wolves are figuring themselves out after that big Nuggets win, as well as the Bulls are just going to start unraveling. So 9.5 is a play that I like there. A couple player props. Lauri Markkanen over 19.5 points. I think he's just the number 1 guy on the Jazz, and he just gets a lot of shots. So 19.5 is a little low, especially hopefully he's not on a minutes restriction or anything like that because he was injured, but I like that over. And then Wemby over 3.5 blocks. Last night he had 3. I had his over steals and a blocks, and it was at 4.5. I got stuck at 4. It was brutal. It was miserable. I was a sad man. But I think 3.5 blocks hits tonight. I don't think Ayton, he's going to try to do a couple moves in the post. He's going to get that shit swatted away, and I think that over hits. Those are my Thursday picks, boys. What do we think?
I would never go under Wemby blocks, so I've got no complaints there. Markkanen is the number one player, clearly, for a shitty Jazz team, so we just need the looks. We just need the team to actually score 100 and not 80, and that feels good. The Bulls do feel like a team that's going to be selling off all assets. It feels like Zach LaVine's going to be on the move here soon, and that team's just going to get shopped around a little bit. They feel like they're in full rebuild. So, you know what, Lance? I dig it. I think we lose the Deontay Johnson take. I think Sean's on to something there. And then short of that, why not? Let it rip.
There it is. Sean, any thoughts?
NBA spreads are tough because you can have a game 15, you're up by 15 with a minute left, and then shit hits the fan, and it's like you win by 6. So I always struggle with spreads. I haven't been a big spread predictor yet this season. I'm kind of waiting to see, how the season starts out. One couple Bulls props I do really like. Patrick Williams over 3.5 rebounds. It's a hard matchup for power forwards to rebound against the Timberwolves, but you better believe you have to crash the glass hard in this matchup. So I like him to go over. He's consistently going over this season. And then Vucevic has been Mr. Consistent all year long. If you toggle between his points, rebounds, assist line, he's going over like 7 out of 8 games. So, Gobert's a good matchup. He did it against him last year, though. So I like Vucevic over 19.5 points and assists in this game, actually, which is why I kind of, it's hard for me to get behind the Timberwolves spread because I liked some of the Bulls player props tonight, but we do know Minnesota's a much better team, in this matchup. So that one's going to be sweaty with the spread, like NBA spreads are.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I just saw that what the effort they put up against the Mavs, and I'm like, that combined with the T-Wolves, hopefully they found a little bit of an identity after that big win against the Nuggets, which was a gnarly game. And it's like the Bulls don't have it in them to come. They're not going to fight. I think they just roll over and get steamrolled. That's what we'll see. You're 100% right when it comes down to NBA spreads. Those are tough. Like sometimes it's just the worst. People are playing their hardest for no reason, and it just goes into like an 8-point loss when it should have been a 22-point loss. So I know exactly what you're saying. And your player props, I'm throwing those in. Those were good stuff. I loved everything you just said right there.
Yeah, much like I don't have on the Bengals game, those bets will give me some balance in that game where I don't need the one scenario to play out to get some money back. It's like I've got several things could play itself out, and I walk away with some money. So I love it all, Sean.
Hey, we covered a lot. One of us has to be right, and then all of us are right.
Yeah, exactly right.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate the time. I'm going to log off, but always good talking with you guys.
Hey, anytime we are live, your expertise is very much welcomed. You're a legend, Sean. We appreciate you.
We'll make it happen. I'll see you guys soon.
Yes, sir. All right, see ya. What a guy.
Isn't that guy just aces?
He just knows what he's talking about. He's just a numbers guy. He's just a Yale graduate. Once you told me that, I was sold. I was like, oh, this guy knows. He's a little bit of a brighter mind.
He's so humble, so he lets you spin his wheels, and then he starts talking, and it's just like, well, shit, why didn't you go first?
That's so funny. That's so true. Oh man. So I don't see any Kevin. We're not getting Kevin, our Chiefs guy. So do you want to just dive into the weekend locks and let's start?
Yeah, we've asked a lot of the audience today. We're coming up on an hour. I think we slam our weekend locks here. We'll poke one more time for Kevin, and if not, we'll bring him back for the Monday show and give him the full week to recover from that hangover. I'm sure he's still nursing from the suite on Monday Night Football.
I hope he is. Yeah. All right, Jack.
I hope he is too.
Jack, you're Mr. Saturday himself. Take us home. Talk to me.
They call me Mr. Saturday Night. Okay, that is killer song, by the way. Look into it. Okay, Saturday Night Locks. I've been Mr. 500 actually recently, but I think here we go. I've got a good variety of some favorites, some down guys. Lance, put me on the clock. Here we go. Saturday locks. Okay. Georgia -2.5 at Ole Miss. We saw this game already, people. It was Georgia at Texas, and it was varsity JV. Georgia had been bad against big spreads this year, but they have dominated these types of lines. Really ask yourself, is Jackson Dart and Lane Kiffin better than Sark and Quinn Ewers? I don't see it at all. Give me the dogs big time in this one. Give him to me with the points -2.5. Then I got Texas Tech +4 versus Colorado. Colorado, honestly, to give them credit, has looked the part since their overtime win against Baylor. Only loss coming against Kansas State by 3. But the boys in Lubbock, Texas will be buzzing this week. Tech has been a pesky thorn in the side of every Big 12 team this year, including the undefeated Iowa State, who they beat by a point last week. And the parity in the Big 12 this year has been crazy. So give me the home team with the points coming off the big win. I like Texas Tech +4. Alabama -2.5. I know you're a Tiger. It pains me to do this to you. But LSU is the worst rushing offense in the SEC. You can't be one-dimensional in this big game against the Tide. On the other side, Jalen Milroe's legs are going to be the X factor. Roll damn Tide this week. Alabama -2.5. I hate to do it to you. I hate to do it to it. Vanderbilt +4.5 for South Carolina. People, this game is in Nashville in the best season they've had since Jordan Rodgers. Honestly, beating Bam at home, it's even better than that. We're going to listen to our signal caller, Diego Pavia, on this one. Vandy is fucking turned. Game at home, and they're getting 4.5 against an even match, South Carolina. Yeah, I'm going Vandy +4.5. And then last one, Army -5.5. Smartest pick on the board right here. They're at North Texas. Army starting quarterback Bryson Daly expected to be back and healthy. He was said to have practiced with the team today, so it looks like a lock. We're going to get him going. Army's 8-0. If you go back to last season, they've got 12 straight wins going, and they have covered this number every single game this year. We've been great on catching on to this trend all year, Lance, but Army's letdown game was last week where they didn't quite cover their number and looked average against Air Force. Expect their best week this week and an easy cover on the 5.5. And those people are your Saturday locks.
Dude, Jack, you killed it. You killed it. Of course, obviously being a Tiger, I didn't love seeing that one. But you made great, valid points, and I'm keeping my heart out of it. I'm keeping my heart out of it. So you know what? Those were all.
I like Nussmeier. I like a home team in this environment. And I almost thought about that overtime win they had 2 years ago, but that was Jaden Daniels. Yeah. And Nussmeier, for all that I love about him, is not fucking Jaden Daniels. And Milroe, I know he's a little bit average as a passer. It's kind of feast or famine with him. But that guy's legs are the real deal, and they're going to create favorable looks against the defense. It's the Tide. It's the Tide.
Oh.
And more than the Tide, it's fucking Georgia. It is fucking Georgia. Yeah. I was at that Texas game, dude. I was in live at that game, and that stadium was the most impressive crowd I've ever been amongst. It was 108,000 going nuts, so into it. It was every bit the day that they should have beat Georgia, and Georgia's offense took a half to get going, and it is still a fucking – and the refs were trying to give it to Texas the whole time. We had 3 bullshit targeting calls against Georgia. We had the freak show where they called back the pass interference after the Texas fans threw debris onto the field. Like, that game was a clusterfuck. It was just obvious that Georgia was the better team. And I think we're going to see the same thing this week against a very similarly put-together offense with Quinn Ewers and Lane Kiffin. Or not, excuse me, Jackson Dart and Lane Kiffin.
Dude. You're on fire right now, and honestly, I think the worst you could do is 4-1 this week. I think that's the worst you could do. Only because, man, I just love them Tigers because of Blake. I mean, I've just been forced into rooting for them. Now I love them. I mean, come on.
It's a cool brand.
But no, the Army one is a lock. I think that's a whale. I think that's like that might be like a 5-unit whale. We might have to discuss if we need to make, because we've been even the entire time and we're down $75. That might have to be a whale.
Yeah, and I'll say this too. There's a lot of show going around in Dallas. If you're not a big time football team, you get no play. Nobody comes to the game. Nobody's going to Denton to watch this game. It's going to be a weird, sleepy environment, and Army's just going to go boat race these guys. I honestly can't see it going the other way.
Yep. Hey, I fully agree. All right. I guess it's my turn, isn't it?
You were still on the weekend. We did Saturday. Now we need Mr. Sunday.
Mr. Sunday. Can I do a little? Nope, I'm not that talented. All right. Here we go. Sunday, I got a lot of favorites. Seems like it's the trend this season, so I'm not gonna keep fighting it. Here we go. Jets -2 at Cardinals. Jets are still in must win now. I don't think the Cardinals are that good, and they got that weird win against the Bears where I still don't feel like they deserve to win by 20 points. Bills -4 at Colts. Try not to overthink. Flacco's old and buns. Give me the Bills. Staying on the hype train. Commanders -2.5. Everything in my gut says to go Steelers here, Jack. everything in my gut, especially since they're an underdog and we have that rule. But no, I'm staying with Jaden Daniels hype train. Next, Lions -3.5. Guys, I just don't see why we don't take the best team in football right now. I think we just stay with them, keep it simple. And this, another one, Eagles playing the Cowboys. My Eagles -7. Don't overthink it. Cowboys are in shambles. And I know our theory about the quarterback change and how that can inspire a team. This is different. Dak got hurt, and this team just doesn't care to win football games. It's a blow up. The Cowboys are done. They got to rebuild. And those are my Sunday locks.
Chef's kiss across the board. I'm going to go in order of my absolute lockiest locks on your deal, and I'll kind of sprinkle back down to some that, there's a counter argument, but I still like the side you're on. Eagles -7. This Cowboys team is so bad. I don't know if everyone caught Dak Prescott on the hot mic, who is Mr. Cowboy. Mr. would never say a bad word against the franchise. Hot mic last week going, we fucking suck. And they did. And they just lost Dak Prescott, who might be the only thing holding this thing together. It's the Eagles by a lot. And by the way, the Eagles, in spite of winning and winning well, I mean, they beat the shit out of that Bengals team who thought they were catching their stride. There's still a lot of shit talk. Like, it still feels like Sirianni's on the hot seat. Still feels like we're not sold on Jalen Hurts. So they're desperate for a big convincing win. It's the Eagles, no problem here. Love that one. Next one, Jets -2. You're damn right. This is the start of at least a win streak. The Jets aren't going quietly into the good night. These TV times are all over the place. I'll put on my NFL conspiracy hat for a second. Just say we want the Jets in the wild card conversation coming down the stretch. It starts with wins on the games they should win. At the Cardinals, who cares? Jets -2. I love it. Lions -3.5. You just took the words right out of my mouth. Don't overthink it. They're hot as hell right now. Nothing appears to be getting in their way. I absolutely dig it. Just eat it. Let it go. Bills -4 at the Colts. Flacco does have a history of covering these spreads. That's all I'll say. I would never be on the Colts here. But I think highly of that staff. And I will say Joe Flacco just has a weird history of covering these numbers. The Colts also, though, are weird with their 2-point conversions and stuff. So maybe you can have your cake and eat it too here, where it is kind of that Flacco, we've got a one-possession game, but the Bills still cover no problem. Also feels like the Bills are due to play a better classic game. Feels like that Miami game was the classic letdown. They probably could have gotten beat there. This will be the return to form. They got better, and they'll look like the Bills this week. So I like your spot right there. And then the last one, I'm going to follow you blindly. It does violate every rule we have. It violates every rule we have. But God damn it, Dan Quinn and Jalen Daniels versus I like the coach and quarterback combo versus the coach and quarterback combo on the other side. I think this will be the best defense Russell Wilson's had to play yet since he's been back. And I do include the Jets in that conversation. So I see them giving them a lot of problems. And then a rushing quarterback is just no fun for anybody. And I don't know how much the Steelers have had to play against it outside of the Lamar Jackson. So we'll see it. But F&A, that's one where we're just going to trust Vegas on it too. Why the hell is that number where it is? It's because it's going to cover.
Yeah, no, I mean, my big thing about the Commanders, I think this Marshawn Lattimore, that upgrade at cornerback is so big for them. Because they have
bigger.
Oh,
no, same take, but not only the upgrade at cornerback, upgrade in personality in that locker room. A veteran fucking dog, absolute fucking dog.
Who just got out of a dumpster fire in New Orleans, probably sitting there like, I don't know if I'll ever play winning football again. Like the Saints are in serious trouble. They have no cap room, no flexibility with dog shit on their roster.
Michael Thomas is spouting off on Twitter. They got a litany of issues over there. Big problems.
He was going crazy on Derek Carr. That was some great content. That guy.
Derek Carr's just throwing one of those out.
Yeah,
what the fuck did I do?
Like the 50 Cent me, like, what the fuck? Like, what me for?
Yeah.
Dude, that's so awesome.
Dude,
yeah, you go.
You know what? I'd love a 10-0 from us. I'd love a fuck you. Let's go viral on a 10-0 weekend.
Dude,
let's have it.
If a 10-0 hits, I'm gonna be I'm gonna have a champagne bottle just popping all over myself. Cause why not? We can do it.
I'm still working on the powers that be at Wana to make sure we can get our action back on over there. But in the meantime, my book only allows me up to 8. So I'm going to pick our 8 favorites off this and run a parlay because I believe in this 10-0. I believe in it, Lance. I believe in you, sir.
I believe in you. I believe in us. And I believe in Jesus. Come on. All right. So I know we're running late, but I got to give him at least like 5 to 7 minutes to just fucking dive in balls deep hockey.
You're the guy pressing the time right now. I'm all good. I'm chilling.
Here we go. Sport, can you hear us?
There he is.
I can hear you. 1 second here.
Mr. Hockey himself, can you please take me to the Yeah! Yeah! I love it.
That's
Man, you
background
look...
in sports broadcasting right there. Way to go, dude. Good to see you.
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Hey, I'm 1-0 in my hockey picks this week. I got on the Avs to take down the Kraken. I'm feeling good.
Love to hear it. Let's see if I can get you a 7-0 tonight. I've never been more confident about a parlay.
All right, I'm getting the notes up so I can jot all these down. Lance will get them posted in the Discord, and everyone else can join the party.
Sports in the Discord. We got a little community brewing, by the way, chat. If you got to look in there, we're starting to get DGen bets is starting to fire. I got a soccer guy, I got a hockey guy, and I got a sack of shit of myself that spews football and NBA. And I got other sacks of shit from all over. Hey, we throw everything at you. You can fade, you can ride, whatever you want to do. We're in there, and we're active.
Sport, so nice to know you. So good to be on your team. I like to think of us as like the GameStop community versus the gambling empire. We're going to the moon. We're taking these fuckers down. We're gonna get them to change the models.
Absolutely.
Oh, James, I'll put a Discord link. I'll put an invite to the Discord server in the chat right now. Sport, go. My bad. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you're good. As I'm getting into it, all these -1.5. I liked your theory last week. Sat there thinking on it all the way. And I was like, you know what? Makes complete sense. Never thought of it that way. It's just something that completely slips my mind as a hockey fan. But we're going 1.5 from here on out. We're going Rangers, Devils, Panthers, Hurricane, Lightning, Stars, and Wild. All of them 1.5 tonight. You know, you put a little money on it, and it's going a long way. So.
Okay, wait. So rattle through those one more time and kind of yell at me. I can't hear you that well.
Yeah, for sure. Is that better?
Yeah. There you go.
Cool. All right. So we're going Rangers, Devils, Panthers, Hurricanes, Lightning, Stars, Wild. Those are the lucky 7 for tonight.
Man, I wish I was talented enough to be able to take that information in and just relay it like that. But man, Sport, is this going to take us to the promised land?
I hope so, man. I'm telling you, I'm coming to Newport if it takes me to the promised
land. Yeah! Dude, okay,
you come
so...
to Newport, Sport. The beers are on me.
Oh, beauty.
So, Sport, so about the -1.5 theory, I don't mean to cut you off, and I know I said I was going to let you talk, and now I'm fucking rambling. The -1.5 theory is a good one.
It is a good one. You know, sometimes you'll get burnt on it, but you know, what bet aren't you going to get burnt on sometimes? Empty netters thing, you know, you get to the end of the game, if you're not scoring the tying goal and pushing it to overtime, that puck's going in your cage. So either you get burnt by a money line, by them tying it up potentially, or you get burnt on your 1.5 with better odds and you can make some more money.
See, that's the whole thing. I love the odds. It's the odds. Just play the odds. Play the cards that Vegas is dealing you. So it's the money lines you get, you know, some of these guys are minus, you know, 200, 275, but you get in that -1.5 and now you're right back to even. And then there's other matchups where it's like seems a little more even, but you think the team's going to win. And because of the empty net and all that type stuff, you know, -1.5 is the play and you get it at like +160. And like, so it seems like it's the play.
The only one that I'm a little nervous about, and I shouldn't be at all, is those damn Sharks. Minnesota's playing the Sharks tonight, and I swear to God, if they find a way to burn them for their 5th win in their last 6 games, I'm going to lose my mind. The
Sharks glory run is over. The Sharks glory run is over. I'm done with San Jose. I don't like them. They're bad people. I know multiple people from San Jose, and all 3 of them are bad people. I wish they were watching right now because they'd get a chuckle out of that. But San Jose, their glory run is over. We love the Wild tonight.
Wild are 4-1 in their last 5 against San Jose. Everything points to a 1.5 win here.
Ah,
Swear
you
to God.
come on, dude. We need it. We
Hey.
need it.
Sport, you just said you were. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you guys want a future bet here, but I just saw something come across really quick.
Let's hear it.
One.
So I mentioned briefly last pod that Cale Makar was second in NHL scoring as a defenseman, which is unreal, like unheard of, Bob Muir type things. Right now for the Hart Trophy, which is the NHL's MVP, he's 11-1.
And you
It's not
think
even
he's
close to the
undervalued?
third.
That's super undervalued. Do you think that's something?
Super undervalued. You got some extra money laying around, throw it on him. I would not be surprised if Cale Makar is holding that Hart Trophy at the end of the year.
Cale Makar, defenseman MVP. When's the last time a defenseman's won the MVP?
It's a good question. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
And if you don't know, that means it's been a damn long time.
A while. I want to say it was Nick Lindstrom, probably.
I'll pretend like I know. I know the name. I know the name.
Yeah, you played enough, Chell.
Exactly. Literally, exactly. All right. Wow. So Cale Makar MVP. Folks, that might be you heard it here first.
By the way, I'm following this all blindly. Oh, let me say this, by the way, Sport. You said at the top right before you went through your picks, you're like, I'm a little bit nervous about the Wild. I'm a little bit nervous about betting on 6 teams I've not seen play one single game this year. Or at least I was until I heard you say the word about and say it a boots. And I'm like, no, I've got the real Canadian in here. I got the real McCoy. I'm following this guy, whatever he says is going to happen on ice. You want to talk Winter Olympics coming up in a couple years? We can have that conversation. If it has something to do with snow, I trust you with my life. Let's do this.
Dude, Winter Olympics, as a Canadian, I hate to say it, might be coming south of the border this year. I think it might be going gold medal USA.
Oh, wow.
Gold medal. As a Canadian saying that.
Oh, yeah.
That's our topic for 2026. So,
hey, I love it.
It's a fun time. I just start watching Miracle on loop and get stoked.
Absolutely. I know Lance said only keep it a few minutes, but he asked me earlier for some player props. So if you guys have time, I'd love to give it.
Fire him.
David Pasternak, 2 shots on net. Chris Kreider, 2 shots on net. Makar and McKinnon, both playing for the Avalanche, both having unreal runs. Give them both a point tonight against the Jets. Kyle Connor, again, there's some question marks on it. He's unreal, though. He's got like 19 points in 13 games this year. Give Kyle Connor to get a point against the Avalanche. Connor Bedard to have 2 shots on net. And lastly, we're going with a couple Russians here. We're going Nikita Kucherov and Kirill Kaprizov, both to get a point. All these are in the Discord, by the way, because I know a lot of people aren't looking at hockey, but names are there with all the teams they play on. You can find them pretty easily.
Sport, you just said it. You just said it yourself. You're like, I got a couple Russian guys. We don't know Russians in sports.
No.
I don't even know how to understand their name. You said Kucherov or something. I mean, oh, man, that's too good.
Oh, the Rangers goaltender just signed the biggest contract in NHL history.
And we have him
tonight.
Thank God
we're betting on him. Hell yeah.
For a goalie, $11.5 million a season.
Wait, that's actually huge numbers in hockey, no?
For a goalie, it's the biggest. But I think the biggest contract right now in the NHL, I want to say it's 14. Something like that, 14 mil a season.
That's pretty. I mean, I know hockey's numbers are way lower than NBA and NFL, but hey,
yeah,
that's big money. That's gnarly. Who is the highest paid player in hockey?
Oh, good question.
So it wouldn't be a McDavid or a McKinnon?
It's not McDavid, but it will be McDavid. McKinnon did sign the biggest one, and it was Matthews. I just need to see how much Draisaitl's contract was that he just signed.
Oh, I see. Okay, so the top guys do get paid. I was thinking because McDavid, I would assume he would have been the top.
Yeah. I want to say it's still Austin Matthews, but
American.
Going to be the best American hockey player one day.
Yep, well, it's still Patrick Kane. Showtime.
Showtime right now.
All right, well.
$14 million a season next year.
Who is?
Leon Draisaitl. He's
Oh, wow.
McDavid's little 1-2. He's his Robin.
Damn. And he
Yeah,
left. And he left. And
absolutely
he's
burned my
playing with
butt
Matthews
Sunday.
right now.
Draisaitl?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's in Edmonton. He's playing.
Oh,
with
okay. So
McDavid.
he's still in Edmonton. Okay. Remember, I'm very casual when it comes to my hockey. We're still
Oh
learning.
no, you're good.
Again,
Good.
all this is in the past tense. You said people aren't really betting hockey. Lance doesn't really know it. These are past tense terms. We are going to get, but we're getting involved right now. I'm following a lot of these tonight blindly. By the way, last question for you before we set our record time for longest podcast we've done. How are you seeing how to play these guys? Are you thinking a little bob and weave with a couple 2-3 man parlays? Are you seeing a round robin, or just trust them all individually and we'll come out the other side having won money?
I threw all of these into one big parlay tonight. Not the player props. The player props, honestly, you're not going to get a lot of value if you just bet them individually. You got to throw a parlay in there. Point ones are going to get you some good value off them because it's way more risky than throwing a couple pucks on it, right? So,
You think mix and match?
Those in a parlay.
Mix and match the props, and then the lines.
Like
throw one big parlay and then all individual. Just kind of just get your money out there. Let's play.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll do a couple same games. Like I'll throw Makar McKinnon, Kyle Connor, all to get a point. If you want to throw like a huge parlay on, you can do those three, and then whatever team you think is going to win that game between Winnipeg and Colorado tonight.
Go Avs.
Colorado's such an iffy team right now, man, because they don't have a goaltender. Like their starters,
that's
starters Alexander Gorgiev. In fact, I got his first ever NHL autograph, and dude has been buns ever since. So I think he got it. So it's got to be something.
I was just about to be like, is that thing not trending up? Are you not a millionaire right now? Just like a day away at least?
No, that thing is I'm pretty sure I've lost money on that. I'm pretty sure my New York Rangers hat is now actually declined in value.
It's one of those that marker is now just a stain on a jersey. It's actually declined in value.
I have an Ottawa Senators framed jersey signed by Alexander Dagg. He's the biggest bust in NHL history. It's like full-on jersey box and everything. It is
dude, Sport, I'm not going to lie. We might have to make a clip of you and clip that moment right there because you're just like, I had his first autograph in NHL history, and he's buns.
Dude, terrible. Like,
well,
if Colorado had a good goaltender and their entire top nine wasn't hurt, it'd be a good team. But you know what? Instead, they're taking defensemen and playing them at forward. There's a defenseman who played for Calgary last year. His name's Oliver Shillington. You know, he's kind of a role defenseman. He came back off of a mental health break for 2 years. Team supported him. Looked at Calgary, said, "Fuck you," left right after. Left to Colorado. You know, game's the game. But goes to Colorado, and now he's playing for the in a forward position, and everyone's like, "What the hell is going on?"
He took a 2-year mental health break, and then he just went in there and realized, you know what, Calgary's the problem. That's why I have mental health issues.
And no, I think it was more like something happened like.
Family,
hey,
I don't want to get
into it.
Yeah. I was like, let's not dive too deep. I don't want to.
I'm not diving into anything like that, but
all right, well, Sport,
yeah.
I mean, this is the record long podcast, and you're the last guy we got here, and I think I love your picks the most.
I couldn't agree more with that take. And by the way, Sport, when we go 7 for 7 here and you get coming to Newport, we'll be drinking some Canadian whiskey on the Monday broadcast when we all go live.
You get me some Crown Royal for a live pod when I pull up to Newport. Oh, we'll be having a good time.
He loves his crowd. He loves his crowd. Don't you? And he loves Hennessy. He loves Hennessy. He's just a sick man.
Just leave some women for the rest of us.
Yeah, leave some broads for the rest of us, Sport.
Oh, don't worry. There's plenty.
All right, Sport. We love it. We love your picks. We love you. We give you a salute.
Absolutely,
Thank you for your services.
Godspeed, dude. You're the best. We are really putting together a squad here. That guy is fucking ace. That guy's cool as shit. I love that guy.
He's so funny. He is so
He's
funny.
got the blazer going right now. With the
He had the
Raiders hat. I'm
blazer,
like,
the shades. He's got
you're
everything.
incredible. You're incredible. I fucking dig you. I dig you. Let's like coach a little league team or at least manage a fantasy team together from distance. I don't know.
Oh God, that is so awesome. No, yeah, the Discord, dude, we're building a little army. We're gonna get right, and it's gonna keep going.
Yeah, squad.
Yeah. So,
hey, and by the way, if you've made it this far in the podcast, you're a part of that army too. So get your ass on the next broadcast and come talk to us. Share your takes. We're having fun.
yep, 100%. Jack, anything else?
No, it'd just be worth mentioning one more time that this show, again, the Wanna Parlay podcast, isn't indeed brought to you by Wanna Parlay. It's not a trademark lawsuit going on right now. We are aligned. And it is home of the $2 parlay, home of the world's richest parlay, where every week people are turning $2 into $2,000. We went through our special player shout outs. I'm stoked on a couple of these people. Way to go, Beastome. Way to go, Evan Hugh 96. I dig you guys both walking out of here with some big time money this week. Steel Curtain 82. Once again, dude, I guess keep doing you, big dog. Your success both offends and insults me to my core, but fucking A, I guess that's just hater talk. Wins are there for the taking. You keep taking, brah. But you are now, a higher paid employee than I am at this company. And to say I can go to sleep at night with that, I can't. So we'll see. It's going to be some long evenings. We're going to get some weird bets out there. We're going to play some NHL stuff. Big congrats to you, Steel Curtain 82. All in good fun. Fucking incredible run these last 7 days. Up over $1,700. People, that should be you. That could be any of you. Keep getting action over there at Wanna Parlay. It's the place where you can actually make a difference making amount of money. Just ask the kid that made $1,700 in the last 5 days.
Hey, couldn't say anything you just said better myself. Well, folks, that'll do it for Thursday's show. We will be back Monday when we announce how we went 10-0. We'll announce that we went undefeated. We're going undefeated from here on out. It's over. Vegas is scared of us right now. Vegas is scared. So, folks, have a good one. We salute you. Till next time.